What's up, y'all? What's going on? Born for Sports here. Just wanted to come in, check in with y'all. Going live tonight, live streaming, looking at this final preseason game, the New York Giants. Preseason finale against the New York Jets. Listen, it's all about just getting everybody healthy and getting ready to play for week one. We are now 2 weeks away from week one. And I see in this game already, we fumbled the opening kickoff. So I guess dude that just fumbled, he won't be getting on this roster, hopefully. But yeah, man, I just wanted to come talk about, chop it up with you guys, man. So listen, at the end of the day, the Giants have to get down to the 53 come Tuesday. We all know that is the main objective here. We're going to get into some things tonight, things that I think are interesting about this game because most of the starters are not playing tonight. I feel like that's a mistake. I think there's some players that need to play. But they, as most coaches do at this time of year, they like to sit their starters, get them ready for week one. The Giants have a unique situation with that. They got a real unique situation with that because they have an offense that has struggled the last couple of years, and a quarterback that uh, has not been healthy. And last year, we all know the story with Daniel Jones. And first preseason game, it was very up and down. A lot of mistakes. Didn't look good making the mistakes he made. Finished strong in the second quarter. Was a bad first quarter, but the turnovers is what is the talk of the town right now. But he did finish better against the second string players, and I just feel like it was a mistake tonight to not play him. I'm just being honest with y'all. It was a mistake not to play him, in my opinion. I feel like last week showed the rust is real. He needed work. That to me, he's not at the point of his career to be established as a starting quarterback where you just say, well, it's whatever. It's just preseason or whatever. He'll be fine week one and we'll go from there. No, we needed him to really go out there and just get the rust off, man, because the rust played a big factor last week, and the only way to get off rust is to play. And I just felt like we should have played him in maybe a series. I could have took a series from him, first quarter, whatever. I just feel like that was a mistake in my opinion. I'm not saying we need to play every starter we had, but I think Daniel Jones was the main guy I wanted to see tonight play and just get that bad taste out of your mouth, man. He's been hearing all week. First of all, he's been hearing all off season, including Hard Knocks, that they wanted to replace him. There was a possibility they might replace him, And then he comes out and he makes some bad mistakes, didn't play too great, and now everyone's talking about that all week. I just felt like it was best to just get the bad taste out of your mouth and gain some confidence by giving them out there against, all right, the Jet second string, third string, whatever. That roster, they got a pretty good roster. Let them get some confidence and just go into the 2 weeks off until week one on a high note. That is a lot of time, in my opinion, for a guy with rust to not play meaningful snaps in a football game. That's going to be 3 weeks now. And you saw how he looked last week. So I just feel like that was a mistake, man. I just want to get to the comments here in the chat. I just wanted to, in the chat. That's my sis saying, what's good? What's good? That's right, baby. Go Giants. Go Giants. We got this. Let's go. But, yeah, I just feel like that was a mistake from the New York Giants, man. Just a mistake. I just feel like they needed to really like play Daniel Jones and get that taste out of their mouths, man. I just feel like that was a mistake. But it is what it is. They went a different direction. See, we got Turbo Miller in the game right now. Looking at him as the Giants have the ball. The Jets kicked the field goal, didn't do much with that drive, getting the turnover. And 2nd and 4, they stopped them. Back, no gain. Turbo Miller's an interesting player on this roster, trying to make the roster. I feel like he's got a lot of talent. Reminds me um, Turbo from a few years ago who got injured, who's ironically his name was Turbo. He's got a lot of talent, very fast, but he's got a lot to learn. I think probably he's a practice squad candidate based on the running back room right now. So DeVito is in that quarterback. Good throw, Allen Robinson on the out. Looks like a gain of 5, first down Giants. So they're starting to move the ball there. So, I also want to get to talk about what I think is the things to look for in this game. I just think we need to see what we have here. I think what we need to look at, things that I'm looking for, is how does Evan Neal and JMS look tonight? They're in the game right now. I think they're gonna get a lot of snaps tonight, based on what I'm seeing. Obviously, before I get to the elephant in the room with Evan Neal, JMS missed some time in camp. He had some shoulder injury, a shoulder issue that he's been dealing with. I thought he came back last week and looked pretty good. They limited his snaps to 15 snaps. And he looked pretty good last week. I thought the offensive line as a whole looked very good last week, and that was even without Runyon. So against a good defensive team in the Texans, big run. Nice run there from number 23 here. Zudu with a nice block on the replay. Number 23, he got a good run there. So the Giants are driving. They're in the Jet 21-yard line. But back to this situation, I just like JMS, man, the way he looked last week, and it was beneficial. And I'm glad that the Giants decided to play him tonight. I'm very glad that they started to play him tonight, because he needs to work. He needs to work, man. He's got to work that rust off. And continuity is good. So I'm sure, they're not going to go too crazy with JMS tonight. They'll probably up his snap total a little extra, but they're just getting him ready for week 1. And I'm glad that he had a good game last week, and they're playing him tonight. Now let's get to the elephant in the room, Mr. Evan Neal. We all know the story with Evan Neal, man. He's been bad. He's been bad for the last couple of years. He's been injured, and this is a crucial time for him. I feel like he should not be starting. He lost his job in the preseason because he wasn't ready to play. He's coming off an injury. I think the Giants need to take their time with him, and I just think that Illuminor was brought here as either a starting guard or he was Evan Neal insurance. And the direction the Giants have gone this offseason, they have now added Van Roten to the offensive line room, who has continuity with Brasillo. He's got continuity with Illuminor as they played on the Raiders. He coached them at the Raiders. Van Roten on the right guard, Illuminor at right tackle. They have continuity. I just think you don't mess around with that. JMS is healthy. You just get him in the center. You put Van Roten at the right guard, and Illuminor's your right tackle. Runyon's left guard, and the great Andrew Thomas at left tackle. That's your offensive line, period. We're not messing around. No moving guys around out of spots trying to fit this here and there, square pegs, round holes. No, you keep them where they're at, where they're comfortable. And I just feel like Evan Neal, man, he lost his job. He's got to earn it back. Now, can he earn it back? Maybe an injury comes back during the season and they have to play him? Possibly. But right now, they got to stick with what is working at this moment. Looks like the Jets just stopped the Giants on 4th and 1. Turbo Miller just got stopped on 4th and 1 in the goal line. So Giants went for it. Obviously, they could have kicked the field goal there, but they are working on some short yardage stuff. So stopped on 4th and 1 by the Jets. But Evan Neal should not be the starting right tackle right now. He should not. Okay? Let him be the swing tackle. I saw earlier this week, they interviewed him for the first time. He spoke. He said, hey, I got to earn my keep. And I like to hear that. I got to earn my keep. I'm willing to play tackle. I'm willing to play right guard, whatever they need me to do. That's the attitude I want to see from Evan Neal. You never can question the guy works hard. He wants to be good. He works hard. You just question whether it's a talent issue on this level of him being a tackle and guard. Maybe it's better he's at guard. The lateral quickness is different for tackles in the NFL, man. Those speed rush edge rushers, they're as fast as receivers on this level. In college, you're gonna face some real good, especially in the conference he played in, but some good edge rushers. But there's also going to be some schools where you're going to play a future accountant on that side. So they don't got the talent to get around it. This level's different. So it could be the fact that he's just better at guard. Maybe his future should be guard. We will see. Or something that I hold on hope to, maybe it was because of the coaching. Okay. Bobby Johnson, that fraud, he's not a good offensive line coach. I said it many times. Maybe it was the coaching issue. And now that Priscilla's here, maybe he can work his magic and make him be a good player. And the first round talent that we thought we were getting, because there's not a lot of people out there that can tell me, there's a few, but not a lot, that can say that they saw this coming when we drafted Evan Neal, 7th overall in that draft. So let's see what Priscilla can do with him. So that's a battle today. That is definitely a battle today. I also want to see the backup quarterback battle, which even though I'm not sure Drew Lock's going to play tonight, but I know Tommy DeVito is in right now. And in my opinion, right now, you got to say Tommy DeVito. Tommy DeVito has to be the backup quarterback right now to Daniel Jones. First of all, he knows the offense. He played pretty good last year at times. He won a couple of games down the stretch for the Giants when they had nothing to play for and an injured Ross, and he was out there playing well, had some moments. We all know now he's a household name now, Tommy Cutlets and all of that. Well, I'm just looking at it from a football point of view. Compared to Drew Lock, he knows the offense. He knows what Dable is doing. Drew Lock, first game, he struggled. Clearly, he still doesn't know the playbook well. And let's be honest, we don't know if Drew Lock is even better than Tommy DeVito. Let's get into that. Okay? We don't know if he's going to be better. He was signed here to be the backup, so obviously he's going to be on the roster. But is he the better backup option to Daniel Jones? I want to see a battle here with DeVito. Hopefully, if Lock does play tonight, you know what I'm saying? We can see, if Drew Lock has gotten the offense down a little better. He did not play well in that week 1 preseason game. And Tommy DeVito, every time he's gotten into the preseasons, looked pretty good. So I think that's a battle we need to see tonight, and we'll see where that goes, So right now, I see the Jets have the ball. 3rd and 1 at their own 20, pushing the pile. First down, Jets. So that was a nice little push there. Giant defense is out there. I'm going to try to get you guys what I see who's out there right now. We got a lot of 2nd and 3rd string guys. Giants are not messing around. They didn't play any of the defensive players, and I think rightfully so. I don't want to see any of our guys. I've said already, I feel like the Giants are going to have one of the best defensive lines in football sometime this season, and I already feel like they have the best defensive line in the division right now. As Fox just came up, gets a sack on the quarterback of the Jets. Nice rush there. Nice little stunt there. Got in there, took down the quarterback, I believe Brownlee. Yeah. Number 15, Martinez. So good rush by that kid. Basham also with the push up too. Let's get to the comments here. Diz was good. Evan Neal technique already looking better. Yeah, It already does. I mean, I've seen it. I know you guys have seen it. You've seen all of the videos this week in training camp. I saw a clip. He looked at fluid out the gate, wasn't turning his hips, little more lateral quickness there, on a couple of reps that I saw in practice this week. And in this game, he looked pretty good too, moving the pile. So, hey, let's see if that even is a thing. Brasillo is a good offensive line coach. He has already proven to me that he's a lot better than Bobby Johnson, fraud ass ever was. So at the end of the day, hey, man, we got to give him a chance. Maybe that's what we got here. Maybe that's what he got. Shout out to Diz. Eggy McLove. What's good, Eggy? Salute. Giants finally may have a solid linebacker core. It's been decades. Oh, yeah, man. Oh, yeah. That linebacker core is much better, man. And I don't remember the last time we had a pretty good linebacker core. Even during the 2016, that type of stuff. Let's be honest. Since Antonio Pierce left, the linebacker core has just drastically gone down over the years for the Giants. Man, Michael Boley was pretty good, I guess. But, the Giants have not featured enough emphasis on drafting good linebackers. Every time I see them draft a linebacker, it's always in like the 6th round or something, and they end up just being a special teams guy. They have to start emphasizing that, especially when you're playing a 3-4. Bobby Okereke, one of the most underrated linebackers in football, should have been a Pro Bowler last year. I think he's one of the best in the league, to be honest. I think he's going to get his due this year. And I'm on record as saying I think he's going to be a Pro Bowler this year. He will get his respect. And then we got that kid, Michael McFadden. He had a pretty good year too. Like the chemistry he had with Okereke. Hey, right now he got hurt. I think they and rightfully so, they're holding him out till week 1. So he had a pretty good year last year. And hopefully he continues to develop and hold his own. I want to see how he looks, however, in this defense. It's a different defense now with Bowen. There's some talk that they might prefer someone with a little more lateral quickness, side-to-sideline speed for that position. Fumble. Martinez fumbles, and it go on a snap. Actually, was a bad snap. Went back to the end zone, and now he throws it out of bounds. So, Jets being Jets, I guess. But yeah, McFadden was pretty good last year. So hopefully he's healthy and he'll be ready for week 1. But there's also been talk about how Bowen, his defense, they might prefer guys with more sideline to sideline speed in those coverages in those zones. I saw in the game that he was in, McFadden, last week, they were taking him off the field on 3rd down and putting in more coverage ability players. So let's see. When Deontay Johnson, who's a name to watch, who looked like he got that dog in him, I like that kid a lot. In the first game, he didn't come off the field on 3rd down. So I would imagine he's going to make the 53 and he's going to be pretty good, man. I really do. But yes, Eggy, you was right, bro. Much better linebacker core than I've seen in a long time for the Giants. Put take. Let's go Giants. Salute, baby. What's goody, bro? Yes, let's go Giants, man. All the time. We bleed blue all the time, man. We got to get you to a game, T. We got to get you to a game, man. Got to get you to that Section 330 crew tailgate, bro. Listen, we know the vibes, baby. We know the vibes, but I need you back, bro. I need you back invested, bro. Good. Thanks for passing through, bro. Hope you're watching the game, enjoying that. Oh, man, that's a live ball. There was a punt. Giants looked like it touched a Giant player, and let's see who recovered it. McKenzie fell back on it. All right, so the Giants still recover. Ball bounce, man. Number 6, you got to get out the way, bro. You got to get out the way. What's going on, man? Who is that guy? Number 6. Bounce off the leg. I don't know if that's poor communication on those kids out there. Somebody's got to be yelling, get away from it, get away from it. He had his back turned, ball bounced up, tapped his leg. But Giants recover, and they got the ball back. So got DeVito back in the game right now. They're going 2-back I formation. Turbo Miller with the running back. Jacob Johnson, who they just acquired, who's an interesting name. Another ex-Raider, man, who was with Brasillo, was with the Raider offense. Giants signed him. He's a fullback. I believe he's probably going to make the 53. I doubt they just brought him in for camp, especially with the continuity he has with Illuminor, with Van Roten, and with Brasillo. So he's in the game getting some snaps, so that's a good sign, man. That's a good sign. But, you know, I also want to talk about what I'm seeing here. DeVito got a 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. Let's go. Quick drop. Hodges not on the same page with him. Hodges is an interesting talk about with Hodges. I've been hearing a lot of Giant fans talking on social media. Oh, we need Hodges. They probably going to cut him. I don't see that, man. I don't think we can cut him, man. I think Hodges has earned his keep, man. I think we need to keep him on this roster, man. We've seen what he can do. We see what he can do when he gets a chance. 2022, he came off the street, helped out the Giants get to the playoffs, and win a playoff game. DeVito sacked on 3rd down, so the Giants will be punting here. But we saw what he can do, man. He went out there, and he basically became the number 2 receiver along with Slayton in that year. Helped us get to the playoffs, won a playoff game, and he was cooking Mr. Peterson, who's been talking mess about Daniel Jones and the Giants lately. But yeah, he was cooking them. He was cooking them when he was on Minnesota, man, in 2 games, not just the playoff game. So I just think we need to keep him. I think you got to keep him. He knows Dable's system. He's a reliable possession receiver. Is he a top 3 receiver? No, he's not. The Giants have a lot of talent in the wide receiver core, in my opinion, this year. And in my opinion, I've said many times, I feel like this is the best receiver core the Giants have had since the 2011 Super Bowl season. Even in 2016, when we had Odell Cruz and a rookie Shep. First of all, Shep was a rookie, so he, even though he was good that year, he was a rookie. Victor Cruz, who I love to this day, that was the end of Victor Cruz. He was holding on. He was not the same player that year. And we all know the greatness of Odell. He basically carried that offense that year with Eli. So at the end of the day, this is, to me, is the best receiver core we've had. You look at Neighbors. I feel like he's going to be the best wide receiver in this rookie class, man. I just think he's a baller. You got to get that kid the ball. Hopefully Daniel Jones does just that. And we all know when you're the 6th overall pick, you're going to be featured. They moved on for Saquon, so there's no more 300 carries that's going to be taking away targets from these receivers. Malik Neighbors is going to be a big deal in this offense, and you can bet that Brian Dable got something cooking with that kid. And then you got Darius Slayton, who is the guy who's always forgotten. He's always forgotten, man, Darius Slayton. But he's got chemistry with Daniel Jones. He has that chemistry. He's a deep threat. He's always good for a deep ball. Every time they give it to him, he's always good for a deep ball. So he's got that continuity. Is he a great receiver? No one's saying that. But he's a reliable receiver and a solid receiver. So you got him. Jalen Hyatt, another talented kid. His route running, to me, from what I see, has improved this preseason. Looks like he's been working. He's a hard worker. I seen all the time on social media. He's working on his craft. Looks like his route running has improved. Looks like he got a little stronger. We all know the speed is there. He's a guy who's impossible basically to overthrow. So the talent he has. He was a Biletnikoff winner at Tennessee 2 years ago. He's a good player, man. And then you got Wan'Dale Robinson, who I think is going to have a big year if he stays healthy, man. Slot. Just an elusive yak receiver. I think with the attention Neighbors is going to get and Slayton might get, he's going to have a lot of opportunities with this offense. He's going to get a lot of targets. And we know Daniel Jones in his career, he likes those intermediate check downs when he gets in trouble. I think Wan'Dale Robinson is going to be one of those reliable targets a la Steve Smith with Eli when Steve Smith was there. So I think he's going to be real good for them as well. Yeah, man. Let's get to the comments. Let's get to these comments, man. DeVito sack, O-line, no time. Yeah, man. Well, got them backups in. Breaking news, I just saw Flash 2. JMS came out of the game with an ankle. Oh, man. JMS, man. This guy, man, this talent he has, but he's been struggling getting healthy. I would assume the Giants will play cautious with him and just take him out of the game, keep him out. That'll be it for him for the night. As the Jet quarterback just hit number 16 with a little 12-yard gain, first down, driving. Eggy McLove, Hodgins is solid, especially with all the young wideouts. Yes, he is. I just think it makes no sense to get rid of him, man. I just think it makes no sense, man. I mean, we'll get into the 53 in a minute, but I just think you got to keep those reliable dudes, man. He's one of those guys that, listen, guys get hurt all the time. Receivers can get soft tissue injuries a lot. You got to keep some reliability in there as the Jets just scored a touchdown. No tackling by those third stringers. I see a lot of people in that is going to get cut tomorrow, probably by Tuesday. So the guy just bounced off. Nobody bothering to tackle. All right. So, but Hodgins, man, listen, at the end of the day, you got to keep those reliable guys, man. I don't think there's any reason to get rid of that dude. Evan Neal blows the Giant Way. Shout out to my guy, the Giant Way. Dave, what's goody, bro? What's goody? What's goody? I know you're one of those rare guys, those guys in the minority that I talked about earlier that did not like the Evan Neal pick at the time with the Giants. Just so y'all know, go see the Giant Way, man. Go give that man a sub on his page, man. That's one of my co-hosts on the NYG Lieutenant show that I do with my guys in TP Way. The Giant Way. His TikTok be popping too. Y'all need to go check my guy. Dude is mad talented, man. But yes, you are one of those guys, bro. Those guys that said that he sucks, bro. I know. But let's see, man. Let's see if Brasillo can work some magic. We've talked about him many times, bro. Maybe he's just best destined to be a guard. That lateral quickness on the edge is suspect, bro. It's suspect, man. It's suspect. So maybe it was due to those injuries that he's had some cleanup procedures on. Who knows? But hey, maybe his destiny is gone. We will see. We will see. Eggy McLove. Robinson needs to stay healthy. Jones loves his slot receivers. Yes, he does. He loves his slot receivers, man. Daniel Jones is more comfortable with going over the years from what we see and what I see. He's more comfortable with just going at the slots, intermediate, doesn't really take a lot of chances deep, doesn't like to throw into tight windows. Wan'Dale Robinson's a guy that knows how to separate and get open. And he will be around and have targets. I'm telling you, the attention that Malik Neighbors is going to get in this offense, man, that kid is a baller. The secret's going to get out if it ain't out already. He's going to get his share of attention. There's going to be that middle of the field to eat. Wan'Dale Robinson's going to be one of those guys that's going to get a lot of targets, man. He's going to get a lot of targets, bro. Might even be a fantasy football sleeper. Maybe. I do know, like Eggy said, Jones loves those slot receivers. The middle of the field and underneath is going to be a lot of targets to be there with the attention Neighbors and this receiver core is going to get. Wan'Dale might eat. Also, Theo Johnson, I see also another rookie tight end who I love. I wanted the Giants to take him. I was very happy that we got him in the value we got him, and I think he's going to be a guy once he learns this offense, this playbook, and he, gets more comfortable being a pro. He's going to be another guy that's going to get some love too in that intermediate underneath area for Daniel Jones. So we'll see. And Daniel Bellinger as well. So let's see about that. But see here, Jets are now up 10-0. Battle of the scrubs for both teams. Battle of the bubble players. So they're looking all right there. But see, they're going to kick it off. this dynamic kick feature in the NFL, man, I think is real interesting. And I think it's gonna wreak a lot of havoc with a lot of NFL teams trying to build their roster, because now with this dynamic kickoff feature now in the league this year, starting this year, teams are gonna now really pay attention to the special teams and return game as a factor, because there's going to be some opportunities there with the new rules to that. The league is trying to cut down on concussions and emphasize player safety. So they feel like eliminating the deep kickoff is going to help, which they have a point to it, but they didn't want to take the kickoff entirely out of the game, which is what I like. I was afraid about that. They should never do that. So yes, that is going to be a new thing in the league. And listen, you're going to have a solid returner, man, because field position is going to be everything in the NFL this year, especially with a team like the Giants, whose offense has been challenged the last few weeks, even with these new weapons. The rust that Daniel Jones is going to have to start the season now, that I believe we're going to have to hope we get decent field position. Looks like Turbo Miller with a gain of 10. Good blocking up front that time. Evan Neal, pretty good opening he just showed there. And the inside interior lineman making a push, so that's pretty good there. But there's gonna be a lot of emphasis on that. And that 53-man roster, man, that's gonna be a hell of a decision for a lot of teams around the league, man. They're going to have to – they cannot forget about that now, because, field position is going to help a lot in the league. And with the way defenses are starting to become faster and faster, it's not easy to score. It's a passing league and everything. The game is still won by scoring and stopping the teams from scoring at the end of the day, was his Captain Obvious statement. But if you got a good defense, it'll keep you in games. But the name of the game is to score more points than the other team. And special teams with this new dynamic kickoff is going to help field position and have better opportunities for offenses, man. That's for sure. That's for sure. So Giants will now have the ball here. Let's see what we got here. Talking on the telecast. But I'm going to discuss this 53, man, and in a commercial break, maybe in another snap or two. Play fake by DeVito, good design. Looks like a flag is down, but it was a nice design of McKenzie, and he got a first down, but it might be an illegal formation here as they threw the flag right away. So usually that's a legal formation. And false start, legal formation. Yep, legal formation. So that'll shut the Giants back a few more yards. But DeVito looks pretty good in this game, man. Looks like 89 Stoll, the backup tight end, trying to make the 53, did that. That won't help his chances. That will not help his chances making the 53. Another bubble player. When you're a bubble player, man, you can't be making mistakes like that. That's why this preseason finale is usually the tune-up game for these players. As DeVito drops back, throws. Hodgins with a nice sliding catch. See, that's what I like about him. Another flag down. Despite that, we'll see if it's coming back. Might be against the Jets on that one. But that's what you like. That's why you like Hodgins, man. That's why you like Hodgins. He knows how to get open, and he's a quarterback-friendly receiver, man. You can't get rid of that. You cannot get rid of that. That would make no sense to me. No sense. No sense. Yes, sir. Classy Chris, what's goody, bro? How you doing, brother? Shout out to you. Let's go Giants, baby. Classy Chris is here. What's up? Yes, sir. Glad you came through to chop it up with me, man. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Glad you out here, bro. Fantasy football coming next week, baby. I know you ready, baby. In case there anyone out there doesn't know, I run a few fantasy leagues, and my guy, Classy Chris, he got the number one pick in two of those leagues, man. Might be his year. We'll see. But good to see you, man. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to you. Let's get more comments. Classy, watch this again. Evan Neal not a starter anymore, right? No, I don't think he is, man. I don't think he is. I don't think he's going to start for this team unless something happens dramatically with the injuries and they have to shuffle guys around or ineffective play. I don't see it, man. I don't see it. I just think he missed too much time in camp. He was already on the bubble. This is an important year for the Giants as far as assessing their quarterback with Daniel Jones. And with Daniel Jones coming off an injury, bro, we can't mess around and have any Evan Neal stinkers. He's got to earn his keep. And when they went out there and they signed Runyon, they signed Illuminor, that was the sign that they knew they had to get insurance, because let's be honest, last year they didn't have any insurance with all those offensive line injuries hit. They had no insurance. They were counting on Evan Neal and Andrew Thomas to be the rocks of the line and everything else fall in place. That didn't happen. Andrew Thomas, we know the story, the great Andrew Thomas. He gets hurt on a field goal block, trying to chase down a field goal block week 1. That was torpedoed the line right there. Then Evan Neal was horrible. So at the end of the day, and he got injured as well and had off-season surgery. So Giants recognized that. They signed Illuminor. So he is the starting right tackle. And then during camp, they signed Van Roten, another guy, right guard. He was with the Raiders along with Illuminor and with the Giants' new offensive line coach, Brasillo. So, they were pretty good with the Raiders. Just leave it alone. Don't mess around. Let's go from there. We ain't got time for it. Let Evan Neal earn his keep. Let him be the swing tackle. Maybe possibly play guard down the road. We'll see, bro. We will see. We will see. Let's get to some more comments here. Hodges, yes, sir. You saw that catch. We need him on the roster, baby. We need him on the roster. I don't know where this talk about him not being on the roster is coming from. I hope the Giants don't make that mistake, man. I know we got a deeper room. I know we got a deeper room and all that in the receiver room. Our receiver core is his best since 2011 and all that. But listen, injuries happen, man. You got to have that depth. And listen, I don't want no more of that of no scrubs holding it down in big games down the stretch with guys with no depth. Hodges has proven himself. No doubt about it. He has proven himself. Classy also says, Jorge, what quarterback in the draft we watching more this season? Listen, bro, I can't reveal that yet. We will talk after September 1st, baby. I ain't going to do that. But listen, fantasy season's going to be interesting, bro. It's going to be interesting because with all the player movement, I talked with a few guys in our leagues. With the player movement around the league, so much player movement and with key fantasy players, it's going to be very interesting. You're going to have to really focus on the kind of offenses they're playing for, who gets targets, and so forth. So that's going to be a big deal, bro. No question about it. I got the number 1 pick in 2 leagues and number 2 in other league. Yeah, man, you got that luck, bro. You got to win something this year, bro. You got to win something this year, bro, for sure. For sure, man. Shit. Man, I haven't even gotten the number 1 pick. And I'm not saying I want the number 1 pick, but it would be nice if one day have it. And you got a couple of them. Yeah, man. That luck is on your side, bro. That luck is on your side. Eggy McLove, Jets 3 straight sacks, shaking my head. Yeah, man. Yeah. The Jets had a couple of sacks there on that drive and just killed that drive. Backup linemen, few of those guys ain't going to be there. Classy of Russell Wilson, not named starter. Would you want Giants to try to get him or he cooked? That's an interesting question because you know what? I just think, first of all, I don't think Russ is coming here or is going to want to be in a place where he's not going to want to play. So right there, we don't need that drama. I would take Russ. I would take him for the right price. I'll take him on the roster. I would take him on the roster as insurance. I think he's a hell of a better player than freaking DeVito I should say hell of a player than Locke. DeVito, I think he's a better player than DeVito. However, DeVito knows the offense, so that's a big deal as well. Russ, would I take him? I would take him. I would take him in a heartbeat and have him be his insurance in case something goes on with Jones. Either he gets hurt again, as he's shown in the past, he has a big propensity to do that, or as in case he's ineffective, you can go to Russ and see if we can catch lightning there and see if he can win some games. So, yeah, I would do that, bro. No question about it. But I just don't think Russell will come here. I don't think he will come here. I think his wife would love to be here. I do. I do think that. We've seen in the past stories about how she was angling, wanted to come to New York, and that they would want to do that. But you know what? I think she would want to come, but I just think Russ, unless he's going to come here, sit on his hands, and wait for an opportunity, I don't think he's going to want to do that. So we'll see about that. Classy. Nah, I meant in college. Who we watching in the draft next year? Well, I do college football. In general, I always like to look at the marquee schools, the SEC, the Big Ten, those places and stuff. There's a few candidates. I've been hearing a lot about Monroe in Alabama. I'm hearing that he might be a guy that can elevate as into top quarterbacks in the class coming for next year. We got what's this guy? This kid's name in Georgia. His name escapes me. He's a guy who's been talked about as the possible number one quarterback in the draft. I like the dude from Houston too, Houston University. He's got a nice little build or whatever. He's big, strong dude, 6'4", is a runner. He's got a cannon of an arm. He reminds me of Dante Culpepper, his skill set. So, there's some talk about him as well. So maybe he can elevate. But there's a few guys. The Ole Miss quarterback I saw also. His name escapes me. Maybe I'll do a little something on that during draft time or something. Maybe around draft season, maybe I'll do something about the quarterbacks. But there's a dude from Ole Miss also that I've been paying attention to. He's got a nice skill set as well. So we'll see about that. But that's down the road, bro. We got to focus on this year, and hopefully Daniel Jones can actually show that he's a franchise quarterback and help this team get to the playoffs. I have my concerns. Anyone that knows me knows that. I'm not sold on it. For a lot of reasons. I'm hoping for the best because I bleed blue. It's always about the front of the uniform, and I want to win. I want to win. I want to go forward, so we'll see about how that goes. Classy says Sanders, prime son. Yeah, he's good too. Shedeur Sanders, that's another guy. I should have mentioned him as well. He's a guy that's very talented. He looked good last year for Colorado. And he really didn't have a lot to work with out there, so his numbers weren't tremendous, but he's a guy I'm definitely paying attention to as I watch college, because I like college football. I like to watch college football, but yes, Shedeur Sanders is another guy who's up there at the top with the top prospects in the draft for next year, that according to a lot of scouts and all of that. So, so we'll see what we get from dude, man. We'll see what we get. Hopefully he can win some games for them. And I like Deion as a coach. I like what Deion brings to college, shaking things up. He makes it uncomfortable for a lot of the stuff that goes on. Listen, college and NCAA is a dirty game, man. Okay, first of all, they make money off those kids. To me, I never like that. I feel like those dudes need to, Jesus Christ, no tackling whatsoever from these giant players, man, out there. Yeah, they're going to be some cuts real soon. They might cut. They might not even get back on the bus. But, yes, NCAA, like I was saying, dirty game. They make a lot of money off those kids, and they have a certain way to do things out there as far as a lot of the media. They don't like the the personalities in the game. So I like what Prime is doing out there. One of the greatest players to ever play, athletes ever to play in any sport at the end of the day. Classy, yes, Carson Beck, that is him from Georgia. That was the guy also. Yes, Carson Beck, he's another guy he's the guy who has been up there as regarded as the top quarterback in college this year, going into week one of college this season. But, at the end of the day, as far as that goes, there's always some quarterbacks that come out of nowhere that no one's thinking about. Burrow comes to mind a few years ago, and you see how good he is. So, college got to let it play out. Dart, I believe his name is Dart, the quarterback Dart from Ole Miss. He's a guy that I kind of like his talent. I hope he makes a jump and makes things interesting in that conference. He's another guy to watch too. Only thing that upsets me about Daniel Jones is it was a Gettleman pick. Yeah, man, Dave Gettleman, man. I mean, he really screwed this franchise with his terrible drafting over the years. Just brutal, man. Just brutal. And he basically reached for Daniel Jones at 6 overall because there was talk about Washington was interested in getting him. Giants had 2 picks in that round that year. They ended up taking Dexter Lawrence with the second first-round pick. So it did work out on that front because Dex is a dog. He is a dog. The best defensive tackle, not named, in my opinion, not named Chris Jones in the league. So that was one pick that basically, to me, as of today, the 2 picks that Gettleman hit on in those years that he was here were Dexter Lawrence and Andrew Thomas. That's it. I can't name anyone else. Right now, Daniel Jones is in the air right now. Maybe down the road we'll find out if he did hit on that pick. Right now, you can't say definitively he did. So those are the 2 best picks Gettleman ever did. His drafting was terrible. Man. So, it's a big mess for Joe Schoen to clean up. That's why I tell people to be patient, man. I'm tired of changing regimes, changing coaches every 2 years. No. Let these guys build a team. I like the direction Joe Schoen and Dable has this franchise going. He's got to clean up a big mess with Gettleman. We knew that. And we still got to the playoffs in our first year with a barren roster, which Daniel Jones actually played pretty good under Dable in that year, in the second half of the season. So let's see what we do there. As the Giants-Jet game is taking a commercial break. Giants waiting for Arch Manning in a couple of years. LOL. History repeats itself with the Manning in 3 years, but that's the last quarterback in college I'm mentioning because I'm ready for the season. Yeah, well, listen, you can't deny it. Arch Manning, he came out. Was a lot of talk about how he's going to be a big time quarterback prospect in college. Hasn't transpired yet, but would we really be surprised if Arch Manning is a quarterback for the Giants down the road in the future? We'll see. I wouldn't be surprised, that's for sure. Classy, watch this, says, and Andrew started horrible as a Giant. Yeah, he did. He did under Joe Judge. Joe Judge, Jason Garrett, and that coaching staff tried to ruin Andrew Thomas. Ruin him. And I remember a lot of people writing off Andrew Thomas at that time, and I was a firm believer. I said, nope. This guy, you got to give him time. He's got the tools. I wanted the Giants to draft him, and I was happy we drafted him. And as soon as Joe Judge got out of there, hey, what happened? He became better. His issue is only issue that I have with Andrew Thomas is that he's just got to stay healthy. That's all. Just stay more healthy and be more durable. And they said that he lost a lot of weight and put on a lot of muscle, a lot of weight. So his lateral quickness looking pretty good. So far, that can only help one of the best tackles in the game. So hopefully, less weight, more muscle will help this team and help him stay healthy for sure. As the Giants are in a commercial break, I wanted to also finally talk about the 53. Who makes the 53? Well, it's going to be a lot of this time of year. We know it. There's going to be a lot of flash here, flash there from players, but there's a lot of things and variables that go into that of if they make the 53 for a team. Do they fit the schemes? Do they want to develop a guy? Do they want to take the time to develop? Do they like the talent and skill set and the traits that they feel they can build a player to be? Well, this is that time of year. A lot of bubbles get bursted. It's not a good time for a lot of these kids. You know what I'm saying? They trying to do for their family. So we're gonna see. I feel like, in my opinion, this would be my 53. I would think we keep 3 quarterbacks. Obviously, Daniel Jones, Drew Lock, DeVito. You got to keep 3 quarterbacks based on the. Usually it would be 2 quarterbacks. I would say in any other year, but. Let's be honest. Last year really taught a lot of teams the lesson that you got to keep 3 quarterbacks, especially with the new rules where you can stash a quarterback on game day just in case an injury hits. You got to keep them. Look how many quarterbacks got hurt last year. Look how many backup quarterbacks play last year, and even in the playoffs. I don't remember a season with that many backup quarterbacks playing by the end of the season and in big games like that. So, yeah, I think Daniel Jones obviously is a lock to start, Drew Lock, and DeVito. The only question with that is who is going to be the number 2? Who's going to be the backup quarterback? In my opinion, it looks like DeVito should be the backup at this time. As far as running backs, I think we keep 4 running backs. Obviously, Devin Singletary, who we signed in the offseason. Tyrone Tracy, who I love his skill set. I think he's got a chance to be a really good player for the Giants. I think he's going to be obviously on the team. And you got Eric Gray. I thought Eric Gray coming into the preseason, he was on the bubble for this roster, and he really had to show something. And I think he has done just that. He's second year under Dable's playbook and tutelage. He looks like he's ready to go. Giants have a nice little running back by committee to replace the Saquon production. Now, you're not going to replace who Saquon is, but in today's league, nice end around for Allen Robinson for the first down on that play as the Giants are now driving. I think you have to have a nice running back committee, especially in today's passing league. If you can get a great dynamic running back who can get all the touches, fine, awesome. No doubt about it. If you draft one, that's great. But for the most part, it's a passing league now. Passing attacks rule, and running back by committee is the way that teams are going. So I think they are good there. I also think Jacob Johnson, the fullback, who the Giants just signed, I believe, a few days ago, I think he's going to obviously make the team. He's got continuity with Brasillo, with Illuminor, with Van Roten, and with Oakland last year, with Vegas, I should say. Yeah, I keep saying Oakland, still fresh to me. Vegas with the Raiders last year, I think he's going to be on and make this team. I really do. And then it just comes down to, what do you think of Turbo Miller? I said weeks ago, a lot of people kind of got a little excited over Turbo Miller in that first preseason game, thinking that he was a lock to make the roster. No, I don't think he's a lock, but I do think they will attempt to put him on the practice squad. I think that's where you're gonna show him there. He's a little raw, he's a little raw out there. He's got a lot of talent, very fast, but I think his destiny with the Giants is they're gonna try to put him on the practice squad. I really do. I think they're gonna do, and I think the signing of Jacob Johnson, I think locks that. I think that locks that. I think we keep 6 wide receivers. Malik Neighbors, obviously, is a lock. Slayton's a lock. Hyatt, Wandell is a lock. Then it gets dicey, those last 2 spots. I think Allen Robinson is going to get cut. I don't think Allen Robinson is making this team. I just don't see the value in there unless something out of nowhere happens and they decide they're going to cut Hodgins out of nowhere or something. I don't see that. I don't see that at all. I think that we're basically going to have a situation where special teams is going to play a part in the last couple of spots. In my opinion, as I've mentioned, as we've been talking, I want Hodges on this roster. I think he has value. You got to keep him. I don't want to hear nothing about cutting him. I think he has to make this team. And then it comes down to, what do you do with special teams? I don't know if the Giants are going to trust Eric Gray year 2 after all the problems he had to be a returner last year. I don't think he's going to be a returner for this team this year. And, Gunnar is hurt. Gunnar got hurt in preseason a couple weeks back, and he still didn't play tonight. I think he's on a roster bubble, and I think he's most likely going to get cut. So, unfortunately, who I'm not that big a fan of as a receiver, Isaiah McKenzie is going to make this roster. I think the writing's on the wall with that. He knows Buffalo. He's been returning kicks. He scares the daylights out of me trying to return those punts. He's been kind of like having a little issues last week in Houston with it. He reminds me of Richie James in 2022, having problems feeling those punts. We all know Richie James. He cost us a couple of games last year, especially that Seattle game where I'll never get over that. But I think Hodges makes the squad, and I think McKenzie is going to make the squad as a returner and get those last 2 spots. I think Allen Robinson will be cut. And so will Gunner, unless they put Gunner on the IR, which I don't see happening. I don't see them doing that for that spot. I think they'll probably cut him as well. As far as the offensive line, I think we keep 9 players. think we keep 9 players, man. I think we're going to keep 9 players. Obviously, the locks are and the great Andrew Thomas, Runyon, JMS, Van Roten, Illuminor. And they are the starting lineup. I think they're on in there. They're going to all start. I think we keep Evan Neal. We're going to keep him. He's a first-round pick. Giants are not going to just give him away like that. Could they trade him if somebody comes out of nowhere? Yes, they could do that if somebody offers them something that they weren't expecting. However, his trade value is down anyway. So you're not going to get much. So it really doesn't make any sense to move him anyway. You keep him for depth. Azudu, you keep him as well. Just don't play him at tackle. Please, Lord, don't play him at tackle. Please, Brian Dable, cut it out. Don't play that kid at tackle. He's a guard. Stinney, I think, makes the roster as well. And Kubas, I think, is going to make this roster. So I think those will be the offensive linemen. I think we keep 9 here. Get back to the chat. Get back to the chat. Man, I forgot that name, Joja. Bad moments of trauma. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Glad we're done with that guy. What a terrible coach he was. I don't know what the Giants were thinking with that. Had to give him a chance. You know, everybody got all crazy because in 2020 during COVID, we got 6-10 in a bad division. I was never sold on that. All right. What is your thoughts on Jalen Hyatt? Honest thoughts. My honest thoughts on Jalen Hyatt is I think he's got a lot of talent. I think he has some things he got to work on. I think he's got to get stronger. He's got to get stronger in that weight room, be better against press man coverages, getting off the line, you know, because that's the only thing missing because is his release. Because when he gets around a guy, he's gone. He's gone. He's got tremendous speed. He's probably the fastest guy on the team. So it's all about that and his route running. And it looks like his route running has improved. So, yes, I like Jalen Hyatt. I think he's got a future with this team. He just got to keep getting better. I just think he needs to work on some things. He's a young receiver. There's a reason why he was a 3rd-round pick and not a 1st-round pick, okay, when we drafted him. He has some things to work on, but he's a talented player. And I think he's got a higher ceiling than a lot of people thought in that draft. Do I think he's a number 1 receiver? No, I don't think he's a number 1 receiver. I think his ceiling is number 2. I think he's a number 2 receiver ceiling. But, hey, the kid has a lot of talent. It's just hard to judge because, you know, our quarterback situation last year with the injuries, Daniel Jones not really throwing the deep ball a lot, those things because the offensive line was so bad, not giving them time. I just think we got to be a little patient with Jalen Hyatt because I expect big things from that kid going forward. Can Neighbors announce by wearing number 6 by now since he was a 6th pick and 6 equals touchdowns? Plus, he has said single-digit numbers being announced. Yeah, I think that's where we're going with that because I know – listen, let's be honest. I know he wants number 8. I know he does, but he's not getting it from Daniel Jones while he's on the roster. Maybe if Jones is going after the season for some reason, then he'll probably work and get number 8, but I don't see that happening. Number 6 has got to be the number. I don't see him getting number 1, number 2, none of that. I think number 1 maybe or number 2 is retired. I got to check back. I think it's already retired anyway, but one of those numbers is retired. I got to check back, fact check that one. But, yes, I think the ideal number is number 6 for Mr. Malik Neighbors. I think that's going to be his number. They'll probably announce it once the cut 53 is announced. You'll see that soon. I don't know why everybody was trying to buy Malik Neighbors number 9 jerseys. We all knew he said it. He was not keeping that number, but, hey, whatever. I don't know what people were doing that for. But, yeah, at the end of the day, I don't know what that was about. But, yes, I do agree with you, Chris. I think that will be his number 6. But as far as the 53 goes, getting back to that, as the Giants did kick a field goal, so it is now 10-3 Jets, 10-3, 152 left, and they are driving. The Jets are driving with the possession as they got possession back. You see that will go in a 2-minute drill probably. As far as the 53 goes, the defense, I feel like we're going to keep 5 DTs, interior defensive linemen. Dex, obviously the locks are Dex. I think he's a lock. We all know how great he is. Nunez Roaches, I think, is a lock. Now it gets a little funny. I think that kid Chapman has earned his spot. I think he's going to be on the 53. I think based on what I saw them using him up front with the starters last week and a few plays and packages, I think they're thinking that he is going to be a part of this defense going forward. He's undersized at 280, and he needs to get a little bit heavier to play that line. But listen, he's got explosive quickness. He's got a nice little motor right there, and he showed in the preseason he has a spot on this team, I believe. And I think the Giants see that he will make the 53. Then it gets dicey. I think it comes down to Riley and Davidson. Listen, I think Riley is a player who has talent. He has the traits the Giants like. He's flashed a couple of times last season for the Giants when he got his chance. I think he needs to make the 53. And I feel like a waiver wire pickup is coming. You saw this week the Giants made some moves. We'll get to in a minute about the corner room. I believe it has something to do with that, but also defensive linemen. They move Andrew Thomas. They restructured this deal, open up more cap space. I can see a situation where even if they let Davidson live and stay on the roster Tuesday, it could be short-lived or they just outright cut him. I think his bubble is pop. I don't think he's it. Every time I see that dude play, he's always making dumb penalties or getting pushed back. I just don't see it with him. I think he's going to be cut, and I think that last fifth spot is going to go to a waiver wire pickup or possible trade. Next, I got the edge rushers. Listen, we know the locks. Brian Burns, Thibodeau, those are guys are locks. Then it gets a little kind of interesting, I'll say. You got the trio of Basham, Ojulari, and a guy who's been turning heads in preseason and camp, and Whitley. Whitley has shown that in his times with the backups that he has a little motor and he's been getting a cool sack, some pressures. Giants kind of like him, I see. Maybe he makes it. Ojulari. I want Ojulari on the team. However, if the Giants cut him or trade him, I can see it because this defense of coordinator Bowen doesn't know him. He was also quoted saying that he wanted to see if he could use him in possible packages for the NASCAR-ish package, maybe rush him interior. I haven't seen much of that. I haven't seen Ojulari do anything preseason that's worth eye-popping against with the twos and the threes. He has to be dominating. We're talking about a guy that was starting 2 years ago. He was starting last year. His problem is not really talent. It's he can't stay healthy. That's his problem. Giants always preach. What do they preach? Dependable. They want dependability. You have to be dependable. And if you're always hurt and always missing games, that's not dependable. So I would not be surprised, based on what I've been seeing and just reading the tea leaves, that if a trade can get possibly a corner here to help with the CB2 room, or if they can get a good pick or maybe something that can help the football team in the interior with the defensive tackles, I can see them possibly, if the deal makes sense to them, they're moving Ojulari. I hope he stays, and I hope he can figure it out. But most importantly, I hope he can stay healthy. But he hasn't really done much, man. And he's on the bubble, man. He's on the bubble. Giants, I haven't seen him do. I just feel like he's had to dominate this preseason, and I haven't seen it. I have not seen it. So I think this is going to be interesting. And then you got Basham, who's been playing, and even in Hard Knocks, Ball was talking about him. So, I think Basham makes the team, and I just think it comes down to that last spot between Ojulari and Whitley and a possibly waiver wire pickup or trade for that last spot. So I think the Giants are going to keep 4 edge rushers. Linebackers, Okereke. Martinez going deep. Incomplete. Could have called a pass interference there, but they didn't call it, so incomplete. Before I get to the linebacker room, I'm going to get to the comments again, to the chat. 1 is retired, 2 is locked, 3 is Tay, 4 retired, 5 Kayvon, 7 retired, Jones, 8 and 9. Yeah, that's really it, man. You're right on that. So Neighbors has got to take number 6, I believe. Where is Stephon Gilmore? He's not on a roster. Can he be CB2 or is he cooked? Well, Gilmore just signed actually early in the week with Minnesota, and I would assume he will be starting week 1, getting ready to get cooked by my boy Neighbors. But Gilmore did sign with Minnesota, Chris. He signed with Minnesota, so we'll most likely see him week 1, and he'll probably be covering a lot of Mr. Neighbors. I don't think he's cooked, but I think he's on the way backwards now. He's getting older now, and, I think he's a solid corner at this point, but I don't think he's the same player he used to be. I don't see that. I think he will help that team. He's better. I would have loved to have him. He's better than what we had, but, at the end of the day, he went to Minnesota, so we'll see him week 1. Linebackers for the 53. I think we're going to keep 6. Okereke, McFadden, the locks. Mawaso, the 6th-round pick we got from UCLA. And then you got Adams, and you got Coughlin, and a guy that I love, Deontay Johnson. I think in that first game and in training camp, he showed he's turning heads, and he will make the 53. And I believe right now he's hurt. He got injured, but he flashed well. They said he was week to week. It's a possibility he might be ready for week 1. But I think when he comes back, he's going to be a part of this defense. And I think he might even challenge McFadden for that LB2 inside, man. If McFadden gets hurt or something, or just with style of play for the defense, I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. End zone incomplete. 7 seconds left. I would assume that Jets will probably kick a field goal here before the half ends. Also, cornerbacks. This is where it gets real interesting to me. We have to freaking find a CB2 because I do not think the CB2 is on this roster. I don't think it's on this roster. I think the Giants are going to make a move, whether it be waiver wire or trade. If there's something makes sense, I think they're going to add a player in the coming days to this roster and hopefully compete for that CB2 role. The locks on the team are Banks, McLeod, Cordell Fly, who I like, but is currently hurt and has not established himself. They gave him a chance to go CB2 to start camp, and he did not distinguish himself there. Had ups and downs, struggled a lot in camp, so I don't think he's the answer right now at CB2, and he's hurt. He's got a quad injury. I think Hawkins makes the team. Last year's preseason darling, he makes the team. And also all-world, who I love, our rookie slot corner, Andre Phillips. I think he's going to be a big addition to the cornerback room. He's going to be a very good player for the slot. He's physical. He's feisty. I love what that kid can bring. I hope he's working on his ball skills because he can cover, he can hit, and he can tackle. He's not afraid to come up and make hits, and I think he's going to be a big addition to this team. But I do think the Giants have to find a CB2, and I think they will be searching on the waiver wire for that and in the trade market come Tuesday and this week, leading up to week 1. Safeties, I think we keep 5. Pinnock and Nubin are locks. I love Nubin. Pinnock, first of all, he's the elder of the room now. He had a real good, solid year for us, showed that he can play. I hope he continues to improve and get better. He's the senior in that group. Nubin, I love that second-round pick. I think he is going to be a baller. He is a dog. I mentioned Andre Phillips, the rookie slot corner. He's a dog. This guy's a dog. Nubin's a dog. He was a dog in Minnesota, a ball hawk, not afraid to hit, tackle. Once he learns this scheme, he is going to be a big factor going forward for this team. Listen, secondary is tough to be a rookie when you're a secondary player. Whether you're a corner or safety, he's going to have his ups and downs. Giant fans are going to have to be patient with those two players, but I really feel like we're set in those two positions with those guys. They're a bunch of dogs. They're going to help. Belton, I think, makes the team. Ball hawk. Yes, he's going to be the third safety. I would assume we're going to have a lot of 3 safeties on the field. I think he's going to be one of those guys that's going to get some looks in those coverages. His issue's been tackling. So they said early in camp, Bowen was quoted saying it was Belton's job to lose when Nubin got off to a slow start because he was hurt. Well, Nubin didn't take long for Nubin to get his spot. So, yes, I think Nubin starts. Belton is the third safety. Isaiah Simmons, I think, is also going to be the fourth safety in the safety room. I think he's like the money backer. So he's kind of going to be that joker in the defense. He can play a low linebacker. He'll rush the passer. He will play some safety. Just don't have him play no slot corner. I don't want to see that. Please, Lord, do not play him at no slot corner, Mr. Bowen. He is not equipped. His skill set is not equipped to chase speedy little slot receivers. That's not him. No. Let him be the joker, rush the passer, play safety, and some middle linebacker here and there. That'll be in. So I think Isaiah makes the team. And another spot who I think Giant fans are probably going to have to get to know. I've been hearing a lot about Alex Johnson, a rookie undrafted free agent who's been turning heads, and he's been looking good in camp for the team. The Giants kind of like him. If he does bring special teams value, I think he also makes the team. And, of course, special teams, we know Graham Gano's the kicker, Gillian the punter, and our long snapper is Crider. So I think those would be probably most likely the 53. We'll see. Giants are not going to be done by any means. That as any other team, they're going to go out there and they will try to find some waiver wire and trade pickups. So even if the 53 gets announced Tuesday, that really doesn't sew it up as the main roster until week 1. There's a lot of time in them 2 weeks that things happen. Teams around the league make moves. There's already been trades going on today and yesterday around the league. So, yeah, we'll see about that. Chris chiming in. Xavier Howard, Patrick Peterson, J.C. Jackson, and Dory, they all available. Yeah, Xavier Howard is available. Patrick Peterson, I believe, signed with another team. I think he was on the Steelers. I got to fact check that. I think he's on the team. Xavier Howard is not on the team. He's got some legal issues he's dealing with, and he got hurt. So I don't think the Giants are going there from what I see. I wouldn't mind taking a flyer on him for the right price, but we'll see. Peterson, even if he was available, I think is not making his team based on the comments he's been making about Daniel Jones in the offseason. That's not happening. And plus, he'll probably feel aware if his dad, Isaiah Hodgins, is still on the roster. J.C. Jackson, I think he does have a team. He is on the team. Adory's still out there. Adory's interesting. I didn't want Adory back this offseason, but honestly, based on what's left in this CB2 room, for the right price, if Adory's healthy and you want to bring him in, so be it. I'd rather have Adory at this point over what we have left. Because I just think there's just too many question marks out there. And if the Giants are not going to find a better solution than what they have, Adory might make sense. I think it might make sense to bring him back if they are unable to find an upgrade over him and what they have in the room currently. So, yes, I would not be opposed at this point. Before the season, no, I didn't want Adory back. I did not. I think it was just time to move on from him. But based on what's left and these guys not distinguishing themselves, yeah, I think we probably might have to go there if there's no other options. I definitely think that. So that's going to wrap it up tonight. And thanks for joining me. Right now it's halftime with the Jet-Giant game. We'll see what comes on. We'll see about the injuries to JMS. Hopefully not too serious, but that'll wrap up tonight's live. Before I do, get one more comment in here. Chris, do the Giants get a kickoff return this season? You know what? If it's going to happen, it might happen this year, bro. It might happen this year with that new dynamic return, that new dynamic kickoff feature that's in the game. Who knows, man? Who knows? They might actually do that. We'll see. Hopefully, we'll have a good enough returner to do that. But thanks for joining me tonight. I appreciate it. I would just appreciate those who are out there watching. First of all, thanks for joining me. I appreciate it all. For those out there who are not who just joined me, probably just figuring this feed out or know me, be kind. I would appreciate you liking and subscribe to Born for Sports. I love doing this. Anyone that knows me knows I love doing this, and I appreciate y'all joining me. And I think there's going to be some big things coming for this channel going forward. You could also catch me on the NYG Lieutenant Show tomorrow night about 6:45 on YouTube channel TP Way the Giant with my co-host, the Giant Way, as well. We chop it up. We love doing what we do. Come join us there tomorrow. But I would appreciate a Born for Sports subscribe. And I appreciate all y'all coming to join me tonight. Let's go Giants. Let's get ready for season. 2 weeks away. Ooh, I can't wait. Man, listen, it's a good time of year, man. It's a good time of year to get excited. Hopefully, we got a pretty good season coming going forward, man. To all my Giant fans out there, salute. I'm out.